What's up, everyone? Max here. We're back for some more Sidemen. For some reason, if you're new to my channel, it's your first time stumbling on one of my videos, I'm a communication skills coach, and what I do on this channel is I look at all different types of people's communication skills, and I give you my thoughts and breakdown. So that's what we're gonna check out today. We're gonna check out a video called Who's the Last Sidemen Standing? So let's get right into this. I look forward to it.
Welcome to Most Likely To, but elimination mode. So we get most likely to question, we pick someone, we can't pick them again. Very, very simple. First question.
Who is most likely to join a cult?
Toby's in one.
What one?
The Bunda cult.
The cult. Yeah, the box cult.
Yeah, the box cult.
Now, you know, Toby's my boy. Obviously, now he's my boy. He reacted to a video of me. He had some nice things to say. What's happening, everyone? My name is Max.
Hi, Max.
I'm a communication skills coach. I've returned the favor. I've complimented Toby. I think Toby's maybe the nicest Sidemen. You know, I was saying in one of my previous videos that he seems like he's like the last guy to insult the other guys. A lot of their banter, maybe this is more of like a UK thing or British thing, like a lot of the insults and the kind of like the making fun of each other and talking shit to each other, you know, that's their way of bonding. I don't know if that's Toby's like primary method of doing so. I think he's more about bigging each other up. And I appreciate that. I like that. I would say that's probably more my way too.
No,
I'm letting him cook. I'm trying to hear what he's gonna say.
No, you give me like Adam 20,
like that kind of vibe. So I'm just thinking like you might
Adam
be, like,
22 vibes. Wait,
scouting.
you
Like,
know,
I don't know, like,
but he fucks other girls on camera.
but I feel like you might be trying to like you could bring someone else in. Like I feel like
That's what secret is, it?
You might be on like
See, this is the type of shit I feel like they'd be talking about if the cameras weren't on. I think that's a big part of the Sidemen's appeal. Like, we feel like we're getting a front row seat into a real conversation that they're having. And again, I've said this before, but I think it's the authenticity that we're drawn to. It doesn't feel like they're filtering anything because the cameras are on. So some people might be a little off-put by some of these subjects, but for the most part, this is the type of stuff that dudes talk about. You know, the Sidemen aren't embarrassed or shy about speaking about their opinions on these subjects. Honestly, it seems like we fiend that authenticity, right? We want people to be real. And I think maybe a lot of people sense that with the Sidemen. Like, these guys are real. These guys are real dudes that we can relate to and connect with. And maybe because they have each other, they have the support of each other, it's easier to do that. You know, they bring that out in each other. They bring that realness out in each other.
Secret from who? From everyone? You're just a very secretive guy. That's why you're like...
Yeah, I vote Toby. I vote Toby.
That's why
You have to get rid of someone.
Yeah, who are you getting rid of?
Toby.
Is it Toby?
Yeah, go on.
Communal group. Toby.
I wouldn't pay for it. Secretive Toby, yeah.
I don't need to pay.
Oh, look at me. I get bitches.
Toby's gone.
You get the free codes.
Who's most likely to go through it?
I love it, because Toby's making a little bit of a cocky comment there. I don't need to pay.
I wouldn't pay for it.
Secretive Toby, yeah.
I don't need to pay.
So again, these guys humble each other. You heard Ethan quickly, ooh, look at me. I get bitches.
Oh, look at me. I get bitches.
Toby's gone.
You get the free.
Right, Ethan essentially is bringing him down to earth a little bit there. It wasn't a big thing, it was a little thing, but I've noticed these guys do that all the time to each other. They kind of humble each other. They keep each other humble. It wasn't like overly cocky. Toby's just, you know, he's not lying. I'm sure he doesn't have trouble with women. Ethan made sure to keep him in check there. So that's what these boys do, right?
You're the most likely.
Yeah, you are by
Right
like
now,
statistically.
yeah.
You're already halfway there.
Yeah.
Right, you completed step one.
Statistically, out of all our options.
There's actually factually over half a chance you're gonna get divorced already.
You've taken the first step towards it, so well done.
Yeah. Towards
Freedom!
Yeah, I think Simon might come across as like, and Simon, if you ever come across this video, I don't mean any hate, man. I don't mean any hate. You seem like an awesome dude, but I would say Simon seems like the most uptight in a way. There's like a directness and a straightforwardness to him, and sort of like a particularity about the way he operates that makes him feel a little bit more rigid and, you know, not necessarily as loose. That's the vibe that Simon gives off. And maybe that's because he's very much in business mode. I commented that before. He seems like very much a business guy. Seems like he's on top of shit. He gets shit done. You know, Simon's pretty direct, right? He seems like a pretty straightforward dude. But maybe Simon just takes a little bit more time to loosen up I think that might be what it is. I think he might be a little bit more high-strung, just judging by his disposition. And it might just take him a little bit more time to loosen up and get into the banter with the guys. Like, obviously, he has that ability, obviously.
Who's most likely to try their own cum?
Ew.
Oh.
Bazinga.
It could be Bazinga curiosity.
No,
It's
Harry,
not a bit,
maybe.
It's not a bit.
I think it's Harry.
It's Harry. It's Harry.
I
It's
think
Harry
it's
or
Harry.
Bez?
I think it's Harry.
Well, have you never?
Harry.
You've never taken
It's Harry.
it.
It's Harry. It's Harry.
Of course you have.
No.
You've never.
No.
Harry's wild, huh? Harry's wild. I don't think he takes himself too seriously at all. I think he's okay kind of being the butt of the joke, it feels like, but yeah, he's a wild one. I thought at first it might have been Ethan who was the wild one. I think Ethan completely speaks his mind, and I think Ethan is the most rated R in a way. You know, I think he's the first to talk about sex, and I think Ethan pushes the boundaries with that kind of rated R content. But I think Harry might be the most wild.
So when you try, I want to hear this out actually.
Yeah.
So how did you try it?
You know when someone goes like, "Oh, we've all done it, haven't we, guys?"
What did you do?
I think you lot are lying.
No, but
Like, did you come in a cup?
pinky
way.
promise,
How did you
swear.
At some point, right? At some point, a little bit must have got my hand, and I've gone.
Yeah, man, these guys talk about stuff that I'm surprised they air, you know? Like, these guys really kind of push the limits with certain subjects. I feel like they're probably like a guilty pleasure for a lot of people as well. I'm almost embarrassed watching this with you, knowing people are watching this with me. Like, this is the type of shit I'd consume and like enjoy on my own. And I think this is probably why Harry's really lovable. I think he's okay with admitting this type of stuff that is, you know, embarrassing for a lot of people. I think he's okay with admitting certain things. Like, there's a radical honesty to Harry. I think that's what it is. Yeah, there's like a wackiness to him. There's a little bit of a darkness to him, and there's a radical honesty that I think a lot of people can connect with. I think that's ultimately what we're drawn to. The people who are authentic, they're gonna have people that either don't like them or that really like them. At least we know where they stand, right? They're being real.
Can we do better? I don't know. We can.
I think it was nice.
Yeah,
That was good.
Good round.
I love the fact that
You
What
like
did it taste like? What did it taste like?
I actually honestly don't
Tastes
remember.
like
It wasn't
salty
anything
egg
like
whites.
notable. I
If you
think
don't remember, you should do it again.
Have you ever not? You know, have you been on a golf course? It smells like cum. I think the pesticides they put in stuff smells like semen.
Yeah, that's where Harry's mind goes, and he doesn't stop his mind from going there. He had a thought about a golf course and related the last story to the golf course, and
You know, have you been on a golf course? It smells like cum. I think the pesticides they put in stuff smells like semen.
that's where his mind takes him, and he's gonna say it. There's no like filter around that, and I think Harry provides a lot of humor, it seems like, for this group by not stopping his mind from going to these places. Not only stopping his mind from going to these places, but vocalizing these thoughts. I think Harry provides another layer of humor for the guys to pounce on and make fun of. So it's almost like, thanks, Harry, for allowing this additional layer of humor for the Sidemen to take part in. You know, I think he's responsible for that by putting himself out there and putting his thoughts out there.
Who is most likely to be the best prime minister?
Oh.
I think Josh.
Vic or
I think
Josh?
Josh.
I throw myself
Vic
in
might
the
be
ring.
Chancellor of the Exchequer.
I'd throw myself in the ring.
Yeah.
I think between you two.
I would Josh. It's
Imagine
Josh.
trying to
It's
listen to the
Josh.
speech of Josh on.
To be fair, Vic can give a convincing speech.
Oh yeah, PR Vic.
Yeah,
like, you
PR.
can get-
Yeah,
There you go, Toby, making sure to give his boy props over there, you know?
To be fair, Vic can give a convincing speech.
He wants to hype his boys up. People just appreciate a compliment, man. People really appreciate a compliment. It goes a long way. But Josh does seem like he would be a good public speaker. I mean, he is. He's kind of leading this activity. It feels like Josh is sort of in charge here. He's sort of facilitating the questions and facilitating the conversation to a degree. So I think obviously he can get kind of raunchy too, but he can also kind of button it up a little and be the mediator, it seems like.
You can be the
underwriter.
Yeah.
But I need him to lie to them.
You're in the cabinet. You're in the cabinet. Don't worry, you got the job.
I need Vic to lie to the nation.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
Well done.
Who is most likely to buy nicest clothes?
Well, Toby, yeah.
He literally has Prada head to toe.
But by Prada doesn't mean that you've got the best style.
This is drippy though. This is drippy.
Yeah, this is drippy.
He
You did a good job.
Yeah, and you know what? I love the balance of the banter and the agreeing with each other. Like, that's the honesty with the Sidemen. Like, you hear them agreeing on things, maybe almost more than they disagree on things. It's a mix of both, really. I would say it's almost 50-50, but that's the honesty in it. They're not like bantering and talking shit just to get views. And I think there's a real honesty that people sense when they watch the Sidemen. Like, you heard this last answer, you heard them all be like, yeah, no.
You can be the underdog. Yeah.
When they're on the same page, you can really feel it. You know, there seems to be like a real good kind of like team camaraderie at times. And they seem to like really understand and know each other really well. But we also hear the honesty when they disagree as well. I think there's a really good balance there. So I think as an audience, we sense that and we see that. We're like, okay, you know, it's genuine when they agree and it seems genuine when they disagree because they do a lot of both. They're not being dicks to each other for the sake of being dicks to each other. This is just their dynamic at play that we're seeing.
No, but it is what you said before. It's most likely become a pedophile.
We've got 7 out of 7! Yes! We've done it!
That's ridiculous.
Guy is so good.
We did it. Is that the last one?
Who's most likely to crash their car?
For the most part, they don't take themselves too seriously, right? They're okay with being made fun of. And I think that rubs off on all of them in a way. Like, you kind of just got to embrace it. You got to embrace it. Like, if you want to be a part of this group and you want to be a part of the dynamic, you got to be okay with being made fun of. You just got to be okay with it.
Yeah. It's me.
I've witnessed it.
Who actually?
I think it was crashed.
I crashed into a curb.
Tony crashed it.
Yeah, you have.
Actually, I've seen
Toby
Vic
crashed the
drive.
Hummer. Toby crashed the Hummer.
No, but you've
He
seen him
crashed
drive.
into a corner by going straight into it.
Harry nearly killed a
JJ
Moroccan
doesn't
local.
care about his cars.
JJ doesn't drive.
True, so you can't.
Yeah,
It's Ethan.
you.
It's
You
Me?
still drive,
Of
yeah.
course.
And Toby also is very observant. Like, I think he knows the guys. They all know each other really well, but Toby seems to know specific details really well about the guys. That's my hunch with Toby. Toby, if you're watching this, I think you're a real observer of people. You know, you watch people closely and you're able to mention specific things about people that a lot of people wouldn't be able to recall. And I think that comes from being so observant. And I think that's just a great communication skill in general. It makes other people feel like you see them. It makes other people feel good, essentially. I don't think a lot of the guys come at Toby hard, except for maybe Ethan, maybe Simon. But I think that might be a reflection of the closeness between Toby and Ethan. Ethan comes at Toby, but only because they're super close. Toby seems like a guy who kind of keeps his cards a little closer to his chest.
Who's most likely to be happy with their parents?
Oh.
Could you say
Harry.
Harry.
Yeah,
I think
Harry don't care how he looks.
you're quite a carefree soul.
Yeah. And you fucking look at it.
Maybe it's the facade.
And look
though.
at the stallion as well.
Wow. Beautiful man.
When I saw you at my wedding, I almost called it off.
Flew her off the fucking
Harry.
Okay, so we're seeing that, you know, that kind of goes against my original thoughts with Simon in this video. That self-deprecating humor, right? So he can chop himself down. He can be self-deprecating, it sounds like.
When I saw you at my wedding, I almost called it off. No one else has ever done this to a waiter. We've all witnessed it. We have all witnessed it.
That's not any of you.
Was it rude to say it out loud in public?
That's valid.
The question was friends.
Yeah, that's
And the waiter's
valid.
not I consider waiters my friends.
See, this is part of what I like about Harry, too. Like, Harry's just kind of sitting on the couch at times, and he seems like he's in his own world, right? There's no, like, masking anything. There's not like a performative element to him, it doesn't feel like at all. He's just gonna act how he feels in that moment. He's honest in every way, from his appearance to what he says. It's like, what you see is what you get with Harry. And then Vic, I mean, Vic's kind of defended himself pretty hard. So I don't know, I wonder if Vic is generally defensive. Who would you guys say is the most defensive? Like, who defends themselves the hardest when they're attacked?
I can't say Simon got me 30 beautiful presents. It's not Simon.
I can't believe this.
You done that for me.
I don't know. It's a vote. It's a vote.
What?
Well, you've all voted
I
already.
voted Simon.
We're going Simon.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're out.
Wow,
Hey, that's
you
a
lot.
good thing though.
Yeah, you know we could be
Listen,
picking.
I still wake up with night tremors over the ellipses that Simon would drop.
Toby finding the positives, man. Mr. Hype Man over here finding the positives, right? That's a good thing, though.
We're going Simon.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're out.
Wow,
Hey, that's
you
a
lot.
good thing though.
Toby's looking out for his boys. Toby's always bigging up his boys. But these boys, like, as much as at times they talk shit to each other, these boys are good to each other in different ways. Like, when the attention's on each one of them, when they're telling a story, none of the guys are, like, looking away or not really seeming to be interested. Like, when Ethan's telling a story, yes, Ethan's a captivating, charismatic guy, but everyone's looking at him. Everyone's listening to him. When each of them have a story and they make it known that they want to tell the story, people are paying attention. Whether they end up making fun of them or not, or agreeing with them or laughing at them, that doesn't matter. The point is, they're all there. They're all present with each other. I think that's also another cool part of this dynamic. They're all very present in the conversation, and when each one of them are speaking, they're listening. You know, these boys are close, and they're respectful. Although they're disrespectful, quote unquote, ultimately, I think there's a great deal of respect for one another.
Who's most likely to do a horrible crime and not feel bad now?
Yeah.
Just a stamp on the kid's head.
Sure.
Yeah.
Josh.
Yeah.
You want to find out?
Fuck them. Whatever the crime is, they're doing it.
Who wants to experience this horrible crime?
Yeah. Who's the victim? Let's go.
Let's go.
I mean, these guys are hilarious and very entertaining, and I feel like a guilty pleasure for a lot of people. Some people might be rubbed the wrong way by some of the topics, maybe by some of their comments, but ultimately, they're just being real. It's kind of refreshing in a way. That's it. I really enjoyed that. If you want to watch my uncut reaction and analysis, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. I've included all my uncut Sidemen analysis there. So if you're interested in any of those as well, you can go straight to my Patreon page. I've included the link in my description below. Other than that, I appreciate you being here. My name is Max. I will catch you soon. Peace.